get out.
Ren froze in the doorway. The lottery for the senior trip had been random, but of all the rooms in this hotel, it had to be the one. The girl he publicly dumped a year ago sat on the bed, her eyes like ice.
I said, get out.
The duffel bag slipped from his shoulder and hit the floor with a dull thud. Ren still couldn't move.
Hina, the front desk gave me this key. I swear, I didn't arrange this.
I don't care how you got here. You have 3 seconds to leave.
He could still see it. Taku's smug grin, the hallway full of students, and Hina's face, silent, crumbling, as he announced it was over. He'd smiled then. What had he been thinking?
This is a nightmare. After everything I did. How can I even look at her, let alone share a room?
The door clicked shut. The room shrank to just the two of them. A year ago, in a crowded hallway, Ren had stood with Taku and the others. Their expectations pressed on him like a hand on his back.
Come on, Ren. You've been complaining about her being too clingy. Just end it already.
Hina, this relationship isn't what I want anymore. We're done.
Hina's lips parted. No sound. Her eyes widened, then emptied. The laughter around her felt like shards of glass.
Not here. Not with everyone watching. Please, not like this.
She turned and walked, back straight but trembling. The hallway swallowed her figure, but Ren could still see the slight shake of her shoulders. The memory dissolved. Ren stood in the hotel room again, Hina's eyes fixed on him, colder than the hallway winter.
Hina, wait.
I am going to the teacher. I won't share a room with you.
The door slammed with a violence that matched her words. Ren didn't move. He couldn't. Ren snapped out of his paralysis. If there was any chance of fixing this, even just surviving the trip, he had to follow. He found Hina in the hallway, already facing their teacher, Mr. Tanaka, who was holding a clipboard and looking tired.
Mr. Tanaka, there's been a mistake. I can't room with him. Please, isn't there any other room?
The room assignments are final. Every room is full and no one agreed to swap. You'll have to make it work.
Fine.
She turned and walked back, her steps stiff and heavy. Ren trailed 3 paces behind, the silence between them a wall. The door clicked open. Hina went straight to her bed and pulled out a pair of earbuds.
3 days. Just survive 3 days and this is over.
She won't even look at me. What did I expect? That she'd forgive me with a single word.
The first night stretched before them, endless and cold. The only sound the faint hum of the city beyond the window. Hina scrolled through her phone, the screen light casting a pale glow on her impassive face. The earbuds sealed her away from him completely.
Maybe if I just say something, anything, she'll look at me.
He opened his mouth, but the words died. She turned her back, pulling the blanket up like a shield.
Coward. I am still a coward.
The lamp switched off. The room fell into darkness, only the city lights painting faint stripes on the ceiling. Ren lay staring upward, the futon feeling like a plank beneath him. Every detail of that day a year ago looped in his mind.
Why didn't I just talk to her then? Instead of parroting Taku's garbage.
From the other bed came the soft, steady rhythm of Hina's breathing. Asleep, unbothered. Or at least that's how it looked.
She looks so calm. Does she really not care anymore? Or is she just that good at hiding it?
The night crawled on. Ren didn't sleep. Guilt was a weight on his chest that no shift in position could ease. Morning light cut through the paper screen. Ren sat up. Hina's futon was already empty, folded with cold precision.
She couldn't stand even breathing the same air as me this morning.
At the temple, Ren spotted Hina near the stone lanterns with a cluster of girls, her laugh floating over, then dying the instant she saw him. He took a step forward. She turned her back fully, and the space between them became a chasm.
She's made a fortress out of silence, and I gave her every stone.
All day she stayed just out of reach, in the bus, the shopping street, the lunch hall. Always across a crowd, never close enough for words. Evening dropped. The hotel room became a tomb again. Hina unrolled her futon without a glance, her earbuds already in.
If I can't speak, there's only one way left. I have to write it all down.
Long past midnight, Ren clicked on the desk lamp. A blank page stared back. He pressed the pen down. The first words hurt, but they were the first honest thing he'd done in a year. Page after page, Ren wrote until his fingers cramped. He didn't make excuses, not one. Each sentence was a confession of cowardice, of peer pressure, of the boy who smiled while she broke.
I told myself it was your fault for being quiet, but the truth is, I was too weak to be seen with someone they'd mock.
He stopped, swallowed hard, then added the part he'd never said aloud.
I never stopped thinking about you. Not for a single day.
4 pages, front and back, folded precisely. The paper felt heavier than it should. He stood, breath held, and crossed the 3 meters to her futon, the longest journey of his life. He slipped the letter onto her pillow, inches from her sleeping face. The pages rested there, white as a flag of surrender. Hina stirred, her hand brushing the edge of the paper. Ren's heart seized, but she didn't wake.
What have I done? If she reads it and feels nothing, if she throws it away.
Dawn crept through the window. The letter still waited on her pillow, unread. Ren hadn't slept at all. Hina stirred, her hand brushing the paper. Her eyes opened, and she stared at the folded letter on her pillow. With trembling hands, she picked it up. The paper felt foreign, heavy with words she hadn't asked for.
He lay rigid, eyes barely slits, heart hammering. She's reading it. She's actually reading it. Don't hope. Don't you dare hope.
The first page. Her face was a mask of cold porcelain. Then, as her eyes moved down, a hairline crack formed, and the ice began to melt. Second page. Her jaw tightened. A single tear escaped, tracing a cold path down her cheek. She didn't brush it away. By the final page, her hands were shaking. The paper quivered, and for one suspended breath, her lips parted.
Say something, please, even if it's to tell me it means nothing.
But she only folded the letter, slow and deliberate, and tucked it into her blazer pocket. Not discarded, kept. She rose, pulled on her uniform jacket, and never once looked in his direction. The silence was a verdict. The door clicked shut. Ren exhaled, a shaky breath. She hadn't spoken, but the letter was with her. He didn't know what that meant. The third morning arrived cold and gray. When Ren opened his eyes, Hina was already sitting cross-legged on her bed, facing him, hands clenched on her knees.
I don't forgive you. And I am not going to pretend your letter changed that. But you are going to listen to exactly what you did. You said, Hina, this relationship isn't what I want anymore. We're done. Taku grinned. Marita laughed out loud. You didn't even correct them.
Ren's fists tightened on the futon fabric. He didn't move, didn't blink, every word a lash he'd earned.
By lunch, everyone knew. Girls I thought were my friends asked if it was true, then stopped sitting with me. I ate in the bathroom for a week.
Don't speak. Don't defend. Just listen.
Do you know what it's like to have 30 classmates stare at you? Like you are a piece of trash someone finally threw away? Because I do. I still hear their whispers.
Her voice was trembling, but her gaze never wavered. She had rehearsed this, or maybe it had just burned into her memory.
That's only the breakup. There's more.
Ren braced himself. Whatever came next, he deserved, and he knew it.
After you dumped me, I transferred classes. The friends I had, gone. I spent every lunch in the second-floor bathroom stall, staring at the stall door.
The shame had clung to her like a second skin, impossible to wash off.
I disappeared, Ren. I was invisible for the rest of junior year, and nobody noticed.
She was alone because of me. Every day. Every single day.
2 months later, I found out why I was tired all the time. I thought it was just the depression, but it wasn't.
She paused, taking a breath that seemed to cost her something.
I needed surgery. They cut me open, And while I was recovering, I realized I might not survive.
Ren's mouth opened, 1,000 questions fighting to escape, but Hina raised a hand, a barrier of silence he recognized.
You don't get to react yet. Not until you know everything.
Surgery. The word hung in the air, reframing everything. Ren felt the floor of his guilt drop out beneath him.
I was diagnosed with a congenital heart defect. The doctors said the emotional stress had put too much strain on it.
She turned the screen toward him. The image was a hospital bed, her smaller than he'd ever seen her, pale and wired to beeping machines.
I wasn't avoiding you, Ren. While you were moving on, I was fighting to stay alive.
He stared at the photo, his throat closing. All this time, he'd assumed she'd just moved on.
The surgery left a scar running from here to here. I'll carry it forever, a reminder of what I survived.
The depression that followed was worse than the surgery. She'd spent months barely able to leave her room.
So, no, I haven't dated anyone. Not because I was still broken over you, because I was too busy learning to breathe again.
He'd been so blind. All his guilt had been about a breakup, while she had been fighting a war he didn't even know about.
Ren's fists loosened. His guilt felt like a mockery now. True guilt was realizing you'd never understand the full cost.
I don't need your pity. I just needed you to know what you did, even if you didn't know you were doing it.
After her final words, a heavy silence fell. Outside, the city lights flickered, but neither reached for the lamp. The dark felt safer.
The night before surgery, I wrote letters to my parents. In case I didn't wake up, I was 17 years old, saying goodbye.
Are you okay now? I mean, your health.
I am stable, medication, regular checkups. But I'll never be the girl you dated. That girl died in that hospital bed.
The words hung between them, not an accusation, just a truth. Ren felt the weight of everything he hadn't known.
I am glad you are alive. That's all I can say. I am just glad.
For a long moment, she just looked at him. Then, almost imperceptibly, her shoulders dropped.
Recovery was slow. Walking upstairs felt like climbing a mountain, and I did it alone, because I'd pushed everyone away.
The first pale light of dawn crept through the window, touching the edge of the futons. They had talked through the night. Nothing was fixed, but something had shifted. A door left ajar that had been slammed shut for a year. On their final morning, Hina folded her clothes with mechanical precision. Ren zipped his bag, the sound echoing in the silence. At the door, she stopped and turned. Her hand extended, not in friendship, but in a fragile truce.
At school, we can talk. As classmates, nothing more. That's the boundary.
Ren eyed her hand, then grasped it gently. The touch was light, but it held a promise of a first step.
I understand. Thank you.
She pulled away and walked down the corridor, her back straight but no longer rigid. Ren watched her silhouette until it turned the corner. At the front desk, they returned their keys without a word. Mr. Tanaka accepted them with a tired nod, as if he'd seen this before. Hina walked out to the bus first. Ren followed minutes later, choosing a seat at the back. The gap remained, but it had changed shape. The hotel room they'd shared stood stripped and silent, the futons bare. Nothing remained of the 3 days but an absence. The bus pulled away. The class trip ended, and they were two people with a shared secret heading back to a world that would never know. The first Monday back, Ren walked through the school gates with a different weight on his shoulders. In the corridor, Hina passed him. Their eyes met for a split second. He gave a small nod. She didn't look away.
That's enough. Just that. Don't push.
A week later, her notebooks fell. Ren knelt to help before he could think. Hina stiffened, then murmured a quiet thanks.
Thanks.
No problem.
Days blurred into weeks. The classroom layout kept them apart, but the air between them lost its sharp edge. Once, when Hina missed a day, Ren offered her his notes. She accepted without a word, but the next day, They were returned with a tiny sticky note. Thanks.
Slow. It's working. Just stay the course.
They were classmates, nothing more. But for the first time in a year, that word didn't feel like a weapon. Winter melted into spring. A teacher-mandated study group forced Ren and Hina to share a table after school.
Do you get question 4? The formula seems off.
You forgot to carry the negative. Happens when you rush.
The sessions grew easier. Equations became excuses for small talk, enemy, cafeteria food, the noisy construction outside.
Then the teacher said, in conclusion, math is like love. It only works if both sides are balanced.
That's the worst analogy I've ever heard.
And then she laughed. Not a guarded, held-back sound, a real laugh. Ren's heart stumbled, but he kept his face still. One spring afternoon, Hina bought 2 melon breads from the school store. Without a word, she tossed one onto his desk.
Don't read into it. I just bought an extra.
Don't read into it. Don't read into it. Got it.
Cherry blossoms swirled through the school gate. Graduation day arrived with a kind of quiet final mercy through clusters of laughing classmates. Ren saw Hina by the old fountain, tucking her diploma into her bag.
Hina, I have something for you.
Here, it's nothing dramatic. Just something I wanted to say.
In Ren's letter, I am proud of who you became. I am sorry it took me so long to see it. In Hina's letter, thank you for not disappearing. It's nice to have a classmate I can actually look at. They put the letters away, and Ren lifted his phone. The two of them, under the blossoms, awkwardly framed.
This photo will matter to me. Don't know if it will to her, but to me, it will.
The crowd pulled them apart. Families called. Friends waved. The last day dissolved into handshakes and tears. High school ended. The future stretched ahead incomplete, terrifying, and, for the first time, theirs. They chose universities in the same city. Coincidence, they told themselves. That first October, Ren typed coffee. She replied with a time and a place. It became a monthly ritual. Same cafe, same corner table.
How's the literature seminar? The professor still reading his own books aloud?
Tragically, yes. I've memorized his author bio. Yours? Still fighting with the engineering lab?
Ren's gaze caught the silver band on her wrist, the medical alert bracelet. Unchanged, a quiet reminder of everything she'd survived.
Your health, still stable?
Managed. Same meds, checkups every 3 months. It's just maintenance now.
He nodded, but his chest tightened, a familiar, useless ache. Protection without permission. Winter exams drove them to the library. Late nights, caffeine, the quiet turning of pages. The line between them blurred. Neither named it. For now, best friends was enough. The rest could wait. Spring of their second year returned, and with it, the cherry blossoms. Ren found Hina on their old bench near the campus lake.
I've been thinking about that hotel room again. Not the worst parts, the morning you talked.
She tensed, but didn't look away. The years had taught her not to run.
I told you I never stopped thinking about you. I meant it then, and I mean it now more. I love you, Hina. I always have.
The petals fell in the silence. Her eyes glistened.
Okay, but slowly. We do this, right? Or not at all?
Ren reached over and took her hand, the first real touch since that hotel handshake years ago. Her fingers were cold, but they curled around his, a small, deliberate pressure.
Slowly. He could do slowly. He'd been doing it for years.
And there, under the cherry trees, the second beginning actually began. They dated the way she asked. Slowly. Walks across campus, shared playlists, coffee still once a month. Nothing rushed. The first hug came on a bad day. Her lab project had failed, and he opened his arms without a word. She stepped into them. Their first kiss was months later, in the quiet of the library stacks. Soft, deliberate, a question and an answer.
I am coming with you to your cardiology appointment. not asking, telling, I want to understand.
She didn't argue. The waiting room was cold and sterile, but when he held her hand, it felt less alone. The doctor gave a thumbs up, stable, no changes. Hina exhaled a breath she'd been holding for months. He learned her medication schedule, the signs of fatigue, the limits she hated admitting. He never pitied her. He just paid attention.
You are not going to be my nurse, Ren. I won't let this be your whole life.
I am not. I am your boyfriend who happens to know when you need a break. That's all.
And that was enough. The second chance wasn't a fairy tale. It was earned day by day, choice by choice. On their first anniversary, Ren saved the cafe receipt. He kept a box of them, proof of every day she stayed. Hina's mother met him, pressed his hand, thanked him tearfully. Ren could only nod. Hina graduated with honors. Ren cheered, loud and embarrassing. She laughed, and the sound filled the hall. They moved into a small apartment, shared books, a copied key, and finally, a home that was theirs. Then a scare, her heart spiked at night. Ren drove to the ER, voice steady, knuckles white, benign arrhythmia, stress. By dawn, she was up, teasing his overreaction. He couldn't sleep that night. Watching her breathe, he knew, without her, life was hollow. He didn't say it. Next morning, he made her jasmine tea and said he was proud of her stubborn heart. Their second anniversary, a park walk, her head on his shoulder. This is the slowly I meant. He kissed her hair. Cherry blossoms bloomed again. They took a photo in their old spot. Nothing like the first. That was the point. One evening, clearing out a drawer, Ren found the graduation photo. Edges curled, cherry blossoms still frozen in time. Her smile hadn't changed. His awkward tilt, her loose red ribbon. It all rushed back, but softer now, like rain on a window.
The hotel room, 4 pages on a pillow. Her voice steady and raw. Then the hospital photo. All of it to get here.
He let the memories rise, then settle. No more guilt, just the quiet, undeniable weight of being grateful. Hina came in, drying a mug. Found something? She asked, one eyebrow raised.
Proof you've been smiling for years, even before I earned it.
You really keep that old thing? You are such a sap.
But she didn't pull away when he stood and wrapped his arms around her. She let the photo press between them. No grand conclusion. Just a man holding the woman he once broke, grateful beyond words that he'd been allowed to stay. And the photo, that creased, imperfect photo, became another receipt in the box. Proof of every day they chose to keep going. Sunday. The light that crept through the curtains was the same light that had once filled a hotel room, but now it came without weight. In the kitchen, Ren hummed off-key, flipping eggs. At the table, Hina opened her heart monitor app.
72. Boring as ever.
Ren glanced over. She always sounded dismissive, but he knew the ritual, the way her shoulders relaxed when the numbers were normal. He slid the plate across the table. Eggs slightly singed, toast buttered unevenly. His specialty.
Critique quietly, or I'll cry.
She laughed, and the sound was still his favorite part of any morning. They ate and talked about nothing. The grocery list, a new drama, whether the cat was getting fat. The day drifted. By sunset, they were on the porch, legs dangling, the sky a fading watercolor. She looked at him. No dramatic words, just a smile. He smiled back. That was the whole point. Their hands stayed tangled on the porch railing. The sunset deepened from gold to deep orange, and neither moved a muscle, as if the moment would break. No one spoke. The silence held everything they'd ever needed to say, and more than words could carry. The word forever had once felt like a cage, a debt he could never repay. Now it was just another word for hope. It wasn't a promise made in a single moment of courage. It was a quiet decision, repeated every morning they chose each other. Some stories don't end with a confession. They end with a choice made again, every single day. And then the sun was gone, leaving just the last warm edges of light on the porch and the promise of another tomorrow fade to black